Hello YouTubers. In this video we're going to be doing the front differential fluid change. So when I went through and did all the servicing on this car, all the fluids, I googled front end service, front differential service, and it came up transfer case. So I did the transfer case and I did the rear differential, and I don't know, doing Google searching recently, and I saw that there actually is a front differential on this car, and I have not done that fluid exchange. So this video is going to be a drain and refill on the front differential. I'll show you the parts and the tools, and we'll begin the service. Here are the parts and pieces you're going to need to do the job. So as far as tools go, you're going to need a 16mm 1/2 inch socket or 3/8, whatever, but that's to get the metal pan off. Anyway, you'll need the screwdriver to get this front pan here off. Screwdrivers are for here, or Phillips head. And then you're going to need a 8mm. I used a 6-inch extension and a 1/4 inch socket, and that is to get the pan off that you'll see that'll allow you to get access to the side plug of the differential. So we'll use this to get that panel off. The panel tool to help get the panel off. You'll see in a minute why you need that. And then we need a 14mm ball end. 14mm ball end. This is a ball end. This allows you to get flexibility into the fill plug. We don't need it for the drain plug. The drain plug works fine off the regular end, but the ball end, you're going to want that kind of leverage. Essentially, the ball end will give you about 30 degrees of tilt while still giving you bite to turn it. So you'll want that. This part was fairly expensive, but it's the correct tool for the job. I can't describe it any better than that. Also, you'll need a 14mm wrench. That's going to be used to loosen it when it comes time. And then I used a torque wrench, torqued it to 60 Newton meters or 44 foot-pounds, and that's going to be to tighten up the plugs. Now, I did not use that to tighten up the side plug because you got to have this to tighten the side plug. And there's no way to make that torque wrench work with that. So tighten it as best you can, as tight as you think you need, based on how you tightened the drain plug. So then all you need is 1 quart. You don't even need 1 quart. I would say there's probably that much left in this bottle on this E5. Again, this is an E70 X5. So these are the parts and pieces you'll need. Step 1, which I already began, was to remove 4 screws. Those 4 screws, they came out the front, 2, 3, 4. And then there are other screws that stay in the panel, and they are here, 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 and one on the other side, right there. So you'll loosen these about halfway. You'll loosen them about halfway. They'll stay on the panel, and then just pull the panel out. All right, here's the panel removed. These screws, like I said, they stay in. They don't pop out. And then the 4 along the top. So these are your screws. Just have a Phillips head number 2, and you should be good to go. All right, let's get the skid plate, which is this guy right here. Let's get him out. So that's the 16mm and a 1/2 inch. We're looking at here, this is the drain plug. That right there is our least important plug. And right there is the fill plug. So hopefully you can see it. There's no way for me to get my finger in there and point to it, but that's it right there. So what we're going to do is there's a panel right here, some clips, and we're going to pull this whole panel out. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow us to reach from the side here. I'm gonna be able to reach it from the side. So the point here would be so that we can unscrew it easily and we can get a fill tube through the side, into here, through here and into there. Anyway, let me pull this panel off. It looks like a couple of just pull pins. And I think I saw a screw or two right there. So that should be an 8mm and a body panel trim something tool. Anyway, let's get this. Just wanted to get another angle of this, where we are, where this panel needs to come down. This is the panel right here. This is the panel. That needs to come off. And there's multiple mounting points. Screw here, pin here, pin back there, screw back there. Anyway, you want to get this shield here off, and that's an 8mm, or use your pry tool, like that, to get the pins out. Other than that, we want to get this, and what that's going to allow us to do again is we're going to put that 14mm hex piece through the side. It's going to work like a champ, so you shouldn't have to get to it or fiddle with it underneath at all. Everything's going to be from the side. So take this panel off. Okay, YouTubers, I've taken the bottom half of this panel down. It mounted here. Several screws. And the bottom panel is right there. And now we should see our drain plug through here. And there she is, or fill plug. So now we have some good reach from the side here. We're going to loosen this one first, and then we'll worry about the drain plug. There's our drain plug. I'm getting ready from the side. Take the ball end of our Allen wrench, and we're gonna slide it in there. So there it is, right here. And we'll take our 14mm wrench, because this is a 14mm hex, and we'll break it loose. So I can't do that one-handed because I want to make sure I don't hit this pipe, and we'll break this thing loose. Here's how I ended up having to do it. Just put it in there, and I've already broken it loose, but that's all you gotta have, and it should come right out. Well, if you recall my other videos, this was a little bit blacker, a little bit more age on it than the previous oil. So I think it's a good thing we are servicing the transfer case. The oil is finished draining. Again, all I did was loosen the top one first. Came down here and broke loose the bottom one. No problem. The 14mm Allen wrench worked perfectly on both. So I'm just going to wait for it to quit dripping here, and then we're going to fill it up with fluid. I will say one thing I noticed. I don't think there's maybe a half a quart of fluid in the transfer case. It says it calls for 1 liter. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see how much I get in there. So I'm getting ready to button this thing here up and put the plug in and get the pump ready to pump in the new oil. Okay, the plug's back in. It's torqued to 44 foot-pounds or 60 Newton meters. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to unscrew the cap, put it in our pump, screw it on, and we're going to plug this plug. I'm going to insert this into the side of the transfer case and start pumping. Doing this one-handed, I'm not going to be able to record that part, but you can certainly figure out how to put the end of this into the transfer case fill plug, and I'm certain most of you can pump. All right, so I'm going to put the fluid in and put the fill plug back in, same way it came out, and we'll button this thing up. Car is down, everything's done, fluid changed, did a test drive, no problem. So, you know, once you get that panel off on the side that I showed you, you get that tool that I used. Really, this job is a 5-10 minute job. There's no fussing, no mussing. When you're trying to get to it from under the car, it's better to come at it from the side. Anyway, YouTubers, if you like the video, like the video.